Ninth inning, playoff baseball. Gov Fuller Field here in Falmouth, Massachusetts. John Topa, the righty, to lead off against Brian Gadsby, a new pitcher for the Falmouth Commodores out of UCLA. Sidearm delivery for him. Big step in his delivery. First goes overhand to John Topa, inside 1-0. That's the thing with him, is he exposes what pitch he's going to throw based on his arm angle completely. But he's so good that it really doesn't matter.
I think it gets in the hitter's heads a little bit, too.
1-0 from Gadsby. This time he goes submarine, and it's low, 2-0. Topa is, he's 0 for 2 with a walk, also reached on an error. He's scored twice today. Here's a submarine delivery. That one goes behind John Topa in the righty's batter's box. Wow. He had to kind of like bring his knees forward to avoid that one. That's the thing with submariners, is when they miss wildly.
Yeah, I mean, I was just saying in warm-ups, how does this guy throw a single pitch for a strike? I mean, it's really incredible.
Well, he has not until that pitch. 3-1 now. At the belt. Looked a little bit high from John Topa's perspective. He was about to head down to first, but Rudy Firmback says, wait, hold up. 3-1. Fouled away by Topa, hacking away at that pitch in the strike zone. Fouls it over the bleacher on the third base, or excuse me, the first base side. Third base if we were playing backwards. And now it's 3-2.
Yeah, good job working back in this at-bat by the old sport, Brian Gadsby.
I get it. 3-2. Line drive up the middle into the gap for a base hit. Topa's going to round first, take a sharp turn to second. He's heading in there. Here's the throw, and it gets by the second baseman, Daniel. Topa's in with a double.
There's that piece of hitting we've seen from John Topa earlier in the season, why he was selected as a West Division All-Star, showing off the power he has in his bat, but the power to hit line drives and gappers, and that's exactly what he did. Steinmetz made a good throw on his second, but Topa in there safely. Really good job. He wanted two the entire way, gets himself into scoring position. The Gatemen have not scored since the 6th. They'd like to add some insurance for Canine here.
First double of the game, or first hit of the game, I should say, for John Topa. Now, the only two hitters without hits are the top two, Stephen Kwan, Robbie Metz. Everyone else has a hit. Here's Kasser, lefty, takes a strike down the middle, submarine style from Gadsby. 0-1. Well, I almost said Gatsby because you said old sport.
Gatsby, over radio, you can barely hear a difference.
0-1 from Gadsby, Gadsby, if you're listening. Just to clarify. Runner on second is Topa with nobody out. Showing bunt, Kasser gets it down the third baseline. Gadsby turns, fires wide. Coming around third and heading home and scoring is John Topa. Kasser's heading around second. He's going to go to third. Here's the throw, the cutoff by the pitcher. Kasser is gunned at third. But John Topa scores on the wild throw from the pitcher. And it's 10-5 Gatemen in the 9th.
I mean, it's when you have a sidearm submarine thrower out there on the mound, suddenly making a routine throw to first base is really different. And he elects to go overhand, and it seals way wide of the glove of the first baseman, Cam O'Neill, into foul territory. That one was almost called out of play, but it hung up on the mound in the bullpen in foul territory for Falmouth. Just didn't go out of play. Kasser gets a bit greedy on that one.
I've never seen a cutoff 3-1-5 across the infield like that. That pitch way upstairs, 1-0 on Anchia. I believe the first baseman fielded it. Gadsby cut it off.
No, it was Davidson.
Oh, okay. He was on the mound. In there for a strike to Anchia. They ruled a single for Kyle Kasser and then an error.
Okay. I mean, he might have had the speed to beat that one out.
This one chopped foul by Anchia. 1-2. The Gatemen lead by 5. One thing they have not done is lost a game in which they've scored 10 or more runs. They also have not lost a game when they scored 9 or more runs. They have tied a game in which they scored 9 or more runs. That was here at Gov Fuller. way back on July 8th. Here's Jake Anchia taking ball in the dirt, 2-2. Anchia hit a 3-run home run back in the 5th. Doubled home Kyle Kasser in the 2nd. 4 RBIs in total for the Nova Southeastern Shark, wearing 16 with the big cranberry numbers on these Gatemen uniforms. That pitch outside, full count coming to Anchia.
And I'm sure the Falmouth broadcasters are saying the same thing about the Gatemen lineup tonight. All parts have been good. The weak part, if anything, has been number 1 and 2, which is so rare.
Full count, swing and a miss, Anchia down swinging. Good pitch from Gadsby up at the belt, outside part of the plate. Anchia heads back to the dugout. Here comes McIver. One catcher passes the other.
2 strikeouts for Anchia tonight, but with 2 extra base hits and 4 RBIs, you certainly take it. And that's just the kind of hitter he is, a free swinger, but if he makes contact, see ya.
The hill down the right field line, the first base line, has really emptied out of Commodores fans. Still a solid crowd on hand. First pitch swung on and missed by McIver, 0-1.
Yeah, the crowd that's here now is probably the first pitch crowd for the normal regular season games.
0-1, submarine style, right at the belt. Wow, good pitch from Gadsby. That ball is it safe to call it a riser? Because it does start.
It looks like it
because of the submarine delivery.
Yeah.
Well, it started at about the level of the mound and ended up working its way towards the belt. McIver fouls this one straight back, and the count remains 0-2 with 2 outs in the top half of the 9th. The Gatemen leading.
I mean, a riser is when the ball physically moves up because of the movement that's on the pitch. I don't even know how that's physically possible. I can't even do it in wiffle ball.
2-2, or 0-2, excuse me. Upstairs, 1-2. McIver hitting .258. That pitch. They rule that McIver went around on a check swing. Putting the tag on is Bro, and that retires the side in the 9th inning. But the Gatemen had a run on 2 hits, 1 error, nobody left. 3 outs to go for Brett Canine and the Wareham Gatemen. Can they do it? Find out after the break here on the Gatemen Baseball Network. Bottom half of the 9th. Brett Canine back out on the hill. The Gatemen closer to face the heart of the Falmouth Commodores order. It's Alec Bohm, George Yancha, and Josh Bro due up. Logan Davidson is 4th in that order.
Attendance mark of 1,486 tonight. That's fantastic. Congrats to the Commodores.
Awesome stuff. Of course, we expect the big attendance spikes around the league during the playoffs. And certainly a great crowd tonight. Righty-righty matchup. Here's the first pitch. Breaking ball low from Canine, who worked a 1-2. He worked 3 consecutive outs after putting the first runner on Steinmetz with a bunt single back in the 8th. Here he is in his 2nd inning of work, trying to secure a Game 1 victory for the Wareham Gatemen, 1-0. Fastball hacked on with velocity and missed by Alec Bohm.
Man, that thing has so much heat to it. He's a really intimidating force out there on the mound. A lot of fun to watch when he's pitching for the side you root for.
And a really intimidating force at the plate in Bohm. That swing had a lot of power into it. Fastball, outside corner, good pitch from Canine. 2 strikes on Bohm.
Now Bohm has not seen the curveball or the changeup yet in this at-bat. If you pull the string right now on 1-2, we'll see if Bohm chases or if Canine lays this one in the strike zone. That's the thing. When Canine gets up in the count, he has so many options. They're all good ones.
1-2. Way upstairs. Bohm almost went around, but he's able to hold up on the pitch that was at the helmet level. And that's pretty hard to do for a guy of his stature. 2-2.
Yeah, you would have needed 2 Clayton Daniels to reach that one.
You would have needed 2 step ladders to reach that one, right? 2-2. Breaking ball. Did he go? They checked to the first base umpire. He did not. Pat Sparky Burns sides with Alec Boehm on that one, just checking his swing on a breaking ball in the dirt. A good pitch from Canine. Full count coming up.
Willie McIver's got to be going crazy. I mean, he got called out to end the top of the ninth on a check swing. Boehm went twice as far as McIver did, and he gets the opposite call. I don't know, Sparky, where that one's coming from.
Payoff pitch coming from Canine to Boehm. Breaking ball just outside. A leadoff walk for the Wichita State Shocker.
Really impressive night for Boehm. He's been on base 4 out of 5 plate appearances.
It doesn't seem that way.
He only has 1 single, but 2 walks, reaching on a fielder's choice. He's been all right, as we knew he would be.
5-run lead for the Gatemen. Here's Yansha. Nobody out. Bottom half of the ninth. The runner on first, Alec Boehm. Yansha's 2 for 4 with 2 singles. Out of Texas A&M, the third baseman today, wearing number 3. First pitch in the dirt, breaking ball. Nice play by McIver to keep it in front of him. It's a 1-0 count on Yansha. Yansha's come in, he's hitting .327 so far this season. That's only good enough for second on this in this lineup. Fastball at the belt, nice pitch from Brett Canine. 1-1.
Sort of hard when Brett follows a Barrett in the bullpen.
Yansha had 58 starts this season for Texas A&M. He had 4 triples in his first 4 games, and he takes a ball low, 2-1. That is just bananas.
You mentioned he was an agricultural leadership and development major. What do you think classes for that are like?
Well, it's A&M. It's Texas A&M. It's Texas Agriculture and Mechanical.
I understand that.
I bet it's strenuous work. I bet you have to learn everything and what there is about agriculture, which is a lot to learn. 2-1. Fouled away by Yansha. 2-2 coming up.
Yeah, but agricultural leadership, I feel like that's like yelling at people and telling them what to do, like a contractor or something.
Well, and development. Yansha was the hero in the College Station Super Regional versus the Davidson Wildcats. Hit a walk-off single in the 15th inning, the longest game in Super Regional history. 2-2. Ground ball to the shortstop. Kyle Kasser flips to second. Mets for 1. On to first, not in time.
Well, a good play by Kasser, eliminating the lead runner. It was a slow chopper, and that's why there was no chance of getting Yansha over there at first. But you get 1 out. You have 2 more to get and a 5-run cushion in the bottom of the ninth. This is exactly the spot the Gatemen want to be. The batter you don't want to face, though, is Josh Bro. And thankfully for Wareham, there's only a runner on base right now.
Around the league, 7th inning, Orleans Firebirds lead the Chatham Anglers 4-2. Breaking ball drops in there to Josh Bro. Nice pitch from Canine. That has been lethal for him today. 1 out in the ninth. Yansha on first.
You said Chatham was up on Orleans?
Did I say Chatham was up? I meant to say Orleans was up.
Oh, no, maybe I just misheard you. I'm sorry.
Orleans is leading 4-2. Formerly known as the Orleans Cardinals. Now the Firebirds. 0-1, low. Bro holds off. Luckily, if you're Brett Canine, if you give up a home run to Josh Bro, that only cuts the lead to 10-7. Last time, his 9th inning home run tied a ball game at 8.
I feel like we always have to talk about it.
I mean, every time he comes to the plate, it's just what we think of. 1-1 from Canine. Breaking ball. Did he go around? They say he did. Home plate umpire Rudy Firmback is gonna make the call himself, and it's a 1-2 count on Bro. That breaking ball, so much movement, sinks into the dirt.
Well, and yes, it's much slower than the fastball, but off the hand, it really doesn't look like a breaking ball until about halfway through the pitch.
1-2 from Canine, way upstairs at the shoulders of Bro. 2-2.
And the thing about throwing that high fastball now is you set yourself up to throw a curveball that starts at that point and then ends up hanging back into the zone and getting called strike 3. The thing about throwing that pitch, if Canine does to Josh Bro, is he could hit that a very, very long way.
2-2 coming from Canine. Breaking ball swung on and missed. Josh Bro strikes out swinging. It's hard to do that, to strike out that guy, and Canine just did it. 2 outs in the 9th. The Gatemen are 1 out from a Game 1 victory.
And
Strikeout brought to you by the law offices of Lang, Exoforest, and Bullard.
And with his green batting gloves, here comes Marty Bikina, pinch hitting for Davidson.
Marty Bikina, 8 home runs this season. Pinch hitting for Davidson.
All 8 home runs are here, and the 8, the same number he wears on his back.
First pitch fouled away by Bikina. Plenty of green Michigan State Spartans gear for Marty.
Blip.
Batting gloves. I don't know what that is in his back pocket.
It's like a pocket square.
It does. Or a notebook of some sort. I don't know. Bikina, 28 runs batted in, tied for the team lead. He's a righty. Facing Canine, another righty. 0-1 coming in. Called strike outside corner, 0-2. And Brett Canine's 1 strike away from giving the Gatemen a series lead.
Little ovation from the Gatemen crowd.
Canine with a deliberate approach. The 0-2. Did he go? It's low in the dirt, and they don't even appeal.
No, Bikina held up.
It looked like he did for sure. You'd think that they might go over to
You never know what Sparky
Burns
is going to say.
He's been...
Yeah, sure.
1-2 coming up from Canine. He stares down Bikina. Here's the pitch. Called strike 3! Brett Canine shuts the door, and the Gatemen come into Falmouth, and they steal a Game 1 victory against the Commodores. Thank you for listening to this broadcast of Wareham Gatemen Baseball on the Gatemen Baseball Network. The general manager of the Wareham Gatemen is Andrew Lang. The producers of today's broadcast, Nick Veronesi and Matt Wieselthayer. Our sideline reporter is Claudia Chikamian. Thanks to our beat writer, Matt Feld, and to our host today, Jacob Toby. Next broadcast, like I said, tomorrow against the Falmouth Commodores for Game 2 of the playoffs. 6:30 p.m. start. Coverage with the Gatemen pregame show on YouTube at 6 p.m. Presented to you by South Coast Health. For Connor Federico, Sam Corman, thanks for tuning in to this presentation of Wareham Gatemen Playoff Baseball on the Playoff Gatemen Baseball Network. Welcome out to Spillane Field for the Gatemen pregame show presented by South Coast Health. I'm Sam Corman, joined by Jacob Toby and Connor Federico, the Gatemen broadcast team this year. And it's been a busy weekend with the All-Star game, the Fenway workout yesterday, but also sandwiched between 2 games against the YD Red Sox, both at Red Wilson Field. Both were losses for Wareham. What could have been better in those games?
I think the biggest takeaway from those 2 losses were the defensive errors. I mean, the Gatemen, they committed 4 errors in the loss to YD just the other day, and it really, along with YD hitting, sort of spelled the end of the Gatemen winning streak and sort of transitioned them back to a time where they were a little more mediocre, I'd say, on this, hovering around 500. That's sort of the team that the Gatemen have become again. That's a streak they'll try to get back out of tonight. But I think the hitting was okay. The hitting was okay, especially against YD pitchers who are very talented, had 4 in the All-Star game. My problem basically was just the defensive play. I didn't think the pitching was too bad either. 2 pitchers, Will Neely and Fitzpatrick Stadler, made mistakes by throwing the ball into center field on a double play attempt. But other than that, I really thought the pitching was okay, and it was the defense mostly that was the problem.
And do you think the hitting needs to get more consistent after this weekend's performances?
I think so. I mean, only one player had more than one hit in the last game versus YD, and that was Tanner Dotson, who had a pretty good day, I would say, and he's been on a hot streak this whole season. So, yeah, I mean, you win 5 in a row, then you lose these next 2 in a row. That's kind of how the season had been going for the Wareham Gatemen. They could put together 2 wins and lose about 2 or 3. They finally get to, 5 wins in a row, and they can't sustain that against a YD team which is second in the Eastern Division, which is pretty damn good.
They're really, really good. I think that's the biggest takeaway from this weekend, how good Orleans and YD really are.
Exactly.
I mean, YD's won 11 of 12 now with those 2 wins against the Gatemen. More positive thinking, the Gatemen Fenway workout yesterday, pretty cool stuff. You were there. How did you like it?
Well, it was a bit rainy and a bit muggy.
It wasn't a bit rainy. It was a lot of rainy. It's so much rainy that the tarp was on the field.
It was nobody got to go on the field, which is sort of a disappointment from these players. But at the moment they all walked into Fenway, probably an hour and a half before they got to hit down in the cages below the clubhouse at Fenway, I think they really had a great experience taking pictures, taking videos. I mean, just enjoying the Fenway atmosphere, a place where you can really feel baseball history. And I think it was just an incredible experience for the players. There's no reason that any one of these guys can't make it back there someday.
And we kind of touched on this on the radio show on Sunday, but the All-Star game was Saturday. Spillane Field was rocking. It was an incredible job by everyone with the Wareham Gatemen organization to put it on. I mean, what was your favorite part about Saturday?
Well, let me just credit, Tom Crane, who did an amazing job organizing the All-Star game his second time in 3 years. You saw the attendance shoot over 7,000, which is 2,000 more than it had seen in 2015. So I liked the attendance numbers. I liked the atmosphere. It was really well set up. Everything was all in order. The food, the clothing section, the bathrooms were all tidy in order. I mean, everything you need to see that they're the little things, they were set in order. And the game was really good, too. A nice comeback from the Eastern Division to win the game by a couple runs. And, we saw a lot of great pitching. We saw a lot of great hitting. We saw Griffin Conine hit one well over the 330 mark there in right field. We saw Michael Curry hit one out to left field, a couple home runs. So, all in all, I had a fun day. I don't know about you guys, but it was really fun.
I really enjoyed seeing the left field bleacher completely filled to the brim.
For the first and only time this season.
Especially behind Tanner Dotson out there in left. Really cool to see. Yeah. Gatemen taking on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks tonight. More on that after this short break here on the Gatemen pregame show presented by South Coast Health.
Great, thanks, Coach.
All right, good girl.
Back to you guys.
Thanks, Claudia, Sam Corman, Jacob Toby, and Connor Federico here on the Gatemen pregame show presented by South Coast Health. Big pitching matchup today for the Hyannis Harbor Hawks. It's a guy that the Gatemen have seen before out of Mercer University in Macon, Georgia. It's Kevin Coulter.
Seen before. How about rocked before? The Gatemen have 2 wins against Kevin Coulter this season. Coulter from Mercer, like you said, has struggled a bit in this Cape League season. An ERA of 7.53 in 6 games he's pitched. The Hyannis Harbor Hawks have lost all of them, and that's sort of a disappointing summer for Coulter and the Harbor Hawks. An 0-5 record. This is a guy that the Gatemen have gotten to before, and they need to get to him again. Not only because you've seen his stuff before, but because he's a guy you've had success against. I think the Gatemen could really make it a 3rd rocking of Kevin Coulter, and they'd be well on their way to victory if they can do that.
But then again, with all that, all those losses with Kevin Coulter, the coaching staff's still showing the confidence in him to keep putting him out there for more starts, because that's what the Cape League is about, is he's growing as a pitcher while he's here. And for the Gatemen, it's the ace.
That's all you have to say. It's Griffin Roberts. I was going to say Conine. Griffin Roberts for the Wareham Gatemen, who has been your ace all season long, leads the league in ERA, 1.93, I believe, and strikeouts with 34. He has just been dynamite. In his last outing, made an appearance at Brewster, was 2 innings, an earned run, not a big deal. It was just to get some work in before the All-Star game. Pitched in the All-Star game and let up a run, but John Topa out in center field made a diving effort. It just popped out of his glove at the last possible second, and it was a leadoff double for Josh Shaw, and then he scored on that next play on a fielder's choice. So he wouldn't have really let up that run if Topa made the catch. It was a nice attempt, I should say. But no, Griffin Roberts has been spectacular. In his outing before last, he had 8 strikeouts through 6 innings, I believe. So he's just been impressive all season long with that power fastball and slider.
Yeah, I mean, it's been pretty crazy to watch out of Wake Forest. Griffin Roberts back on the hill to start against the Harbor Hawks today. We'll send it to a quick break here on the Gatemen pregame show presented by South Coast Health. Welcome back to the Gatemen pregame show presented by South Coast Health. Jacob Toby and Connor Federico alongside myself, otherwise known as Sam Corman. And you are wearing a ridiculous sweater right now. And why is that? It's because it's July 25th, which apparently is associated with December 25th.
Christmas and July night at Spillane.
They're 5 months apart. I guess that's a real thing. That new holiday that I just found out about today. What does that say on it?
It says naughty or nice.
Jacob, get your mic out of the way so we can see the Santa. Yeah, Santa's reading off his list in Jacob's jacket. You can see the little presents. It's well stitched. It's right into the sweater. I appreciate it a lot.
I got it at Primark last year for, I believe, $25. That's a lot of money to spend on an ugly sweater.
There you go. Primark is the place, I guess.
Yeah.
In Boston.
You have a player to watch for us. He's out of Florida Atlantic. He's an Owl.
Yeah.
What's his name?
It's Tyler Frank, and he had a brief stint with Team USA. Comes back now to the Cape for the Hyannis Harbor Hawks, who have desperately missed his bat. He's only played in 8 games for Hyannis this summer. He's hitting at about a .226 clip, but he's capable of so much more than that. I know that number isn't really that great, but he's my player to watch tonight. It's probably about time for him to get in the swing of things for this summer in the Cape League after spending some time off the Cape in North Carolina with Team USA. He's probably ready to rock and roll and ready to help lead Hyannis to maybe their second straight victory.
And Jacob, the Gatemen are 3-2 against the Harbor Hawks coming into today. That means today is the final meeting between these two teams. What's your key for the Gatemen to finish this season 4-2 against Hyannis?
Strike out this lineup if you are Griffin Roberts. Strike them out. They have the second least strikeouts among a lineup in all of the Cape League, so they don't strike out a ton. We know Griffin Roberts leads the league in strikeouts, so that's what he does. That's how he gets most of his outs with that slider. Such a great breaking pitch for Griffin Roberts out of Wake Forest. And this is a little stat that I compiled this morning. 4 out of the last 5 games for the Wareham Gatemen, they have struck out. The pitching staff has struck out at least 10 batters. They've struck out 13 once. That was versus Brewster. And they struck out 15 versus Chatham here in that 1-0 walk-off victory. So strike them out. Be very naughty to those Hyannis batters tonight.
It's going to be a pretty important game for the Gatemen. For the Hyannis Harbor Hawks, if they don't win this game, they could be very well looking, like they're not going to make the playoffs at all for certain.
Well, I mean, right now they're only 6 points behind the Gatemen. That equates to 3 wins and another 3 losses for the Gatemen. That's what the Harbor Hawks would need to catch them. This is an important game for the Gatemen, too, because if you lose this game, you're 3-3 to the Harbor Hawks. You already went 2-2 against the Harwich Mariners. That means you're 500 against the worst teams in the league that you really should have beaten, and that would have helped your case a lot more come playoff time. So I think if the Gatemen can win this game today, be 500 against those 2 last-place teams in the league, that would really help them a lot.
And if the Hyannis Harbor Hawks come away with a win, they're just 4 points behind Wareham for that final position in the West Division playoff run. That'll do it for the Gatemen pregame show presented by South Coast Health. Jacob Toby, Connor Federico, I'm Sam Corman. Be sure to stay tuned for the game action starting at 6:30 p.m. on the Gatemen Baseball Network. 0-2 on Mets, the George Washington Colonial in the Atlantic 10 Conference. Of course, known for its basketball. Here's the 0-2. Lined into right field. Dropped for a base hit down the line. Quan round second. He's heading for third. He's going to round third and head for home. Here's the throw. Here's the play. Not in time. The Gatemen win. A walk-off double for Robbie Metz. The hero again. How about that? Captain Clutch, Robbie Metz.
Captain Clutch, yes, sir. 2 for 2 in walk-offs. Robbie Metz.
And now, 2 outs, runner on first, double down the line. That's basically the only way that you can get Quan across in that situation. And he does it.